Hello, and welcome to Old Man Yells at Cloud, what may possibly be a one-shot deal or the first of a series, where I pick a topic I feel the internet might want to know about and expand on it. Since this is the first episode, I guess I'd better pick a topic with some oomph, some pizzazz, and plenty of mass appeal. Ooh, I know! Nazis!
Hi, honey. Smile, honey. Gee, it's great to be back. Hi, honey, I'm home. I'm home!
Yeah, no. Technically, yes, that existed, but I am talking about an actual successful show, not one that was pulled after one episode aired. Ah, the sitcom. A classic piece of Americana that dates back to pretty much the dawn of the television medium. Mom and Dad and their happy family, the hard-working and put-upon teachers struggling to deal with the precocious students. Someone meets an alien, witch, supernatural creature, or sentient robot, and has to hide it from the rest of the world, especially that particularly nosy and snooping neighbor. Ah, fun times. Oh yeah, and one set in a Nazi POW camp. No, seriously, this not only existed, it was popular. I mean, big popular. 168 episodes spanning 6 seasons popular. This was 1965. No one had any sense of tasteful or political correctness back then, especially not in network programming. I mean, come on. Another of the most popular shows from around the time was pretty much based around, "Hey, look here how these here uneducated, uncultured hicks clash in amusing ways with modern city life and society." It was a less enlightened time all around. But seriously, for what it wasn't particularly offensive. Well, beyond the portrayal of Nazi Germans running a World War II prison camp. But other than that, it was a family show for everyone to watch. So the true horrors of war were pretty much glossed over. Hogan and his men were all captured and kept in good health and unabused. The facilities of the prison camp were a lot more hospitable than any realistic prisoner of war movie I've ever seen. And while they were, of course, the bad guys, even the Nazis who ran the camp were not particularly evil, with Sergeant Schultz being fat, stupid, and generally cheerful-natured, and Colonel Klink, who ran the place, was arrogant, preening, and on a permanent power trip despite his less-than-stellar rank and assignment. But never actually evil, at least to my recollection. Oh, and there was a recurring side plot that involved a German officer who kept trying to rope Klink into marrying his abrasive, ugly sister. Yeah, that was pretty offensive. Because these guys were so comedically inept, Colonel Hogan and his men, Sergeants Kinchelow, Baker, and Carter, along with Corporals LeBeau and Newkirk, pretty much ran the place, called Stalag 13. They had tunnels dug all over camp, allowing them to come and go as they pleased, meeting with Allied spies to deliver captured intelligence, and even performing sabotage mission against Axis war efforts. Hogan was the all-American hero, always ready with a smile and a quip, wrapping the easily manipulated camp authority figures around his finger and always coming out on top. You know, it's quite possible he might be an ancestor of Zach Morris. It's a possibility. Kinchelow ran the radio, telegraph, and other communications, monitoring the ongoing war and keeping the team posted of opportunities to take advantage of. He was more or less Hogan's number 2 man and called the shots when he was unavailable. And this is a rare example of an African-American actor in a really developed, positive role. And I only bring that up because of what a rare chance this was in an era not known for giving good parts to anybody but John Q. Whitebread. The rest of the crew were awesome as well, and admittedly deserving of praise, but if I detail each one, this is going to go on a lot longer than I intended. I'm trying to raise awareness of the show, not dissect it bit by bit. Suffice to say, Baker was brought in when Kinchelow's actor left before the final season. He took over communications. Carter was a gifted chemist with a knack for making explosives and known for his terrible luck with the ladies. LeBeau was a passionate Frenchman and master chef who was the master of hiding in unexpected places to snoop for intel, while Newkirk was a rogue, conman, and general trickster, whose criminal past as a safecracker and pickpocket came in handy with some regularity. I mentioned the spying and sabotage that went on, but their shenanigans were much more varied than that. They would occasionally be guest stars playing new transfers to the prison camp, and these were always smuggled out to Allied rescue teams by their episode's end, restoring the status quo, with Hogan doctoring the camp's books to preserve the escape-free record. Sometimes bigger, meaner German officers would come to inspect the camp, wondering just how a screw-up like Klink manages to maintain such a spotless record, only for Hogan and crew to pull the wool over their eyes and send them back to command but with nothing but positive reports. Or sometimes these guys would pull rank and bully Klink into furthering their own ends, and the prisoners would have to figure out a way to pull his fat out of the fire time and time again, or risk him being replaced by someone who could actually do the job successfully. Oh, and I can't forget the ladies. There was a recurring cast of beautiful women throughout the series, ranging from Hilda and Helga, Klink's personal secretaries, both of whom, of course, had flirty crushes on Hogan and were totally willing to betray their country and help out his schemes, often trading secret documents and supplies for a kiss from our hero, to the much less trusting and much less trustworthy Russian super spy, Maria, who was sometimes on our side and other times had goals that conflicted with the main characters. If all of this sounds hard to believe, I can assure you it was very real, and even won a number of awards back in the day, nominated for 12 Emmys and won 2 of them. But, admittedly, back in 2002, TV Guide did vote it number 5 on a list of the all-time worst television shows ever. You know, for little things like making light of the whole prisoner of war thing and being demeaning to real soldiers who suffered enemy capture. This is just my opinion, mind you, but I think that's a bit harsh. Yes, it is true, the concept was insensitive from the get-go and would never fly if it was pitched today, but I really think the thought is what counts sometimes, and I don't think there was any malice behind the creation of this series. Hell, Klink, Schultz, and a few of the other recurring Nazis were played by Jewish actors, as well as some of the good guys, some of whom had actually fled from real-world Nazi oppression. Robert Clary, who played LeBeau, was actually interned in a concentration camp for 3 years, and he still had his ID number tattoo on his arm. If anyone on Earth had the right to dress up, act goofy, and make the Nazis look foolish, I'd say these guys qualify. Back in the day, this show was popular enough to last for 6 seasons, and that says something about the quality when most only manage 1 or 2 at best, and it really was an all-ages comedy. Perhaps it's guilty of whitewashing an ugly past, and maybe you could post a snapshot of the title card in next to the definition of political incorrectness, but at its heart, it's just a show about a witty, heroic American GI who outwits the bungling enemy and always comes out smelling like roses in the end. That's just the way things were on TV back then. And while I don't think the movie adaptation Hollywood is considering would be a good idea in this modern age, I'm glad the show existed, and I advise the curious to look up clips on YouTube or even buy the DVD collection if you like it. Thank you for listening. I'll be back with more Babbleplays and assorted nonsense real soon. See you later. Thank you, YouTube.
Colonel, what are you doing here in Gotham City?
I am looking for an underground agent.
One of ours or one of yours?
And why the exposition hall at the Coliseum?
Who knows? You never know where you might find one.
Be careful not to get picked up. Chief O'Hara can be very tough with aliens incognito.
Incognito? With my monocle?
Well, say hello to Colonel Hogan for us.
It's a wonder he hasn't tried to borrow your bathrobe to pull another one of his escapes.